subsequent restrictive interpretations. It can be. It can be. However, for this kind of changes to be accepted, the position of the international bodies called to control the respect of human rights treaties becomes relevant. And this role is even stronger for the European Convention, given that this body is a court. I do not like to make predictions, and you didn't make predictions when there is the United States legal realism, which thinks that predictions are in the lawyer's tasks. But what I would like to do now is not making predictions, just to say that there is the question of time here. International law changes involve time. International law changes slowly, has always changed slowly. In national law, fast changes are more easy to find. The parliament introduces a new law and so on. And this is true also, the long pathways to changes. It is also true, is first of all true for human rights obligations. In particular, in the European Convention, they can only be achieved through a change of jurisprudence, which rarely happens with just one judgment. Revirement needs some criteria which are very strict, as we all know. In particular, the court needs to ascertain a new European consensus. But first, even if we have had socio-political changes in Europe in the last decades, can we see these social changes sufficient to affirm that a new European consensus exists on the question of the non-derogability of the right not to be pushed back for refugees and asylum seekers? I don't know. And second, even if a consensus exists, can this consensus apply to a non-derogable obligation? I mean, to a human rights which is, in our opinion, one of the main elements of the core human rights. These are some of the questions underlying the litigation before the court. I conclude in 2 minutes, it's a promise. Let me say just some words of what happens in changing international law beyond human rights. Can fast changes be achieved here in other areas of international law? For example, can we think of a fast generalization of the concept of instrumentalization in the broad international community? Even here, fast changes are possible, yes, but even if we don't have criteria clearly established by a court, we need, for fast changes being possible, some criteria that we find somewhere else. In particular, we need that the international community as a whole finds an agreement over a new rule. It means that a new rule or a new concept must match, sorry for the repetition of rule, must match with an interest, with an exigency, with a new exigency of the international community as a whole. But to have this, we need a united international community. We need a harmony in the international community. Can we, and we know that some examples exist, but can we say that today's international community is an integrated community? I personally do not think so. It's very simple to say it, okay? But this leads me to my conclusion. This leads me back to my first point. Instrumentalization. The EU law notion of instrumentalization is a concept that can be understood in an historical phase, which is characterized by an increasing tensions between groups. In other words, it is functional to the interests or exigencies of one of these groups. We can consider, I repeat what I said before, these interests right from a political or a moral point of view, but it is not a notion which will be easily shared by broader groups of states. That's my final point. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, this is really the end. So thank you very much to all of you for participating in this seminar. I hope that you have enjoyed it. The fact that most of you has been there throughout all the day means that there was a point in staying here. I see there are no more remarks to be done online. Just one question. I think that Francesco already replied. The recording of this session will be available on the website of the Hydra project after post-production, clearly, and on the website of the University of Palermo. So thank you all for being here and enjoy your night and your stay in Palermo. Those of you who come from abroad. Bye.